welcome to the Hidden Treasure podcast, where two pirate captains riff around and poke around the maps, looking for the gaps and sifting through the underworld to find those hidden treasures. My name is Captain Mavis.
And this is Captain Obvious. And right now, the thought comes that we are in the season of Mars turning direct in Cancer again. I feel like, it's time to move. It's time to move
Mm-hmm.
a period of just getting bogged down. And I have Mars retrograde in my chart myself. Um, not in Cancer, but also in a place where Mars is having a very tough time in Libra. So I know of this feeling.
The feeling of stuck energy and not
Yeah,
being able to move the energy, the
yes.
action.
And right now it's in a way it's feeling this way too, but it's because of this. Yeah, things feel stuck. Things feel stuck. Or things have been feeling stuck and now the desire to move it is here, but it doesn't mean that things don't feel stuck. It's just that the stuckness feels less permanent or it's not being added to right now. I know that's not helpful. It's just I really want to do. I don't know. I feel like I'm making this up, and I am making it up. But I feel like I'm making it up in a way that's not. It's a down moment for me. I'm not able to marshal my revolutionary fervor right now.
Hmm.
And
You're not able to marshal your revolutionary fervor right now.
yeah, and maybe it's yeah, yeah. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Eh, and I have been kind of having anxiety about this German elections.
Mm.
It has been a topic that I was kind of waiting for, kind of dreading. But I see points of light there. I actually see points of light in that outcome.
Me too. I did feel some sense of relief at the election results, and I was dreading them as well.
Yeah.
I did go to vote, and I did vote strategically this time. The last few elections I've been voting rather for the fools of the Partei, because I do think that there needs to be a fool in parliament.
Mhm.
Because as an anarchist, I had like little
Yeah.
investment in the whole political theater in the last years. But
Mhm.
I felt a sense of urgency actually this time, and I think a lot of people that of similar persuasion than me probably felt the same sense of urgency that we cannot just like sit this one out and let the AFD uh,
Mhm. Yeah. Take it.
take it. And they still took it. I mean, they still doubled their vote share. So
But they doubled their vote share. But
but we didn't want to talk of analyzing elections today. Hey, punk. We have a listener, a viewer.
uh-huh.
Uh,
I know we don't. But it's in a way the fact that we like. Okay, let's not take that topic. It kind of feels like it's pulling the
no,
plug. bathtub.
It's okay. Go. Let's go with the topic, but not in the distraction of making this about political analysis. You were
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about how this was making you anxious, and I think that there is where a little bit where the gold is that we can dig for,
yeah.
because
And about what?
Mars moving forward and reclaiming the revolutionary fervor
Exactly.
has to do with our capacity to move,
Hmm.
and not moving comes as well from this like anxiety and freeze states that we find ourselves in, and this is was my experience the last few days
Yeah,
prior to the election as well, that there's this urgency and this sense of doom and the sense of being disempowered to
and
do anything.
this was very much this Mars retrograde going on, and now it's turning around, and then the German elections that we've kind of been dreading happened and finished. And maybe one of the things I see that I was in a way dreading was, am I going to be able to hopefully like find a hopeful spin on the outcome, no matter what the outcome is? And I did do that. Yeah. Uh, Basically, the main one is that under the youngest people, Die Linke, the left, is the biggest party, bigger than AfD, which is the second party. But CDU and SPD and Greens all have the same size, which is barely anything, and Die Linke would take it. You know?
Apparently, the Linke was the only party doing Wahlkampf on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So yeah, the German.
So,
So this one. Okay. So how is that helping me to rejoin the thing? I feel like I'm connected to everything. I feel connected to everything. I felt the stagnation. I felt the sort of, yeah, also a bit of doom and gloom vibe. And now it's like, okay, okay, enough of that. Um, time,
mm,
time to move my butt, and also to take a bit more risks again. I think I was being risk averse in this,
mm.
and this was stagnating me. And now I'm also reminded of the comfort that kills that I've been in, and yeah, I'm I'm getting open again to make forward strides, and even if it's slow, I think politics is a fun area for me to exercise my capacity in. Somehow, I do feel drawn to it, but at the same time, I have this thought in my head like, what if I just dedicate my life to music, just drop all this nonsense, and just make music? And I'm still gonna find ways to be political about the music, you know, because that's yeah, like Jill Scott Heron. This is there's something amusing and poetic about really playing the fool. It's like doing you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel every time. Yeah, I feel challenged to own my power. As always, I feel challenged to own my power, and I really realized that worrying or thinking about elections was just another excuse for me to stay out of the game. And whether you're being dooming or being or optimistic, making optimism happen around elections are both excuses. Uh, and this is
Keeps you in a in a state of waiting, right? I mean, yes, you wait for the moment that you cast the vote, you wait for the moment that the ballots come in, you wait for the Hochrechnung, you wait for the
yeah,
final.
pacifying thing. It's and that's why anarchists don't believe in electoralism, because it's just another variant of getting you away from the levers of power, getting you away from involvement, giving you an out, giving you an excuse not to take responsibility, giving you an excuse not to take up a role within the collective because it's so abstracted. Like, oh, you just vote,
Mm. And then you wait.
and you wait. Yes, exactly. Sometimes for years.
But there's no time to wait now. I think we just got a little bit of delay of what is coming, and this massive wave of fascism that's building in the US will swap over here the continent as well. So we need to get our bots into action, and start like organizing those networks of community resilience, care, exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also in a freeze over the weekend. I this, yeah, sure, Substack, reading Substack is more inspiring and is more activating, but at some point it gets like also over activating. Like you feel like you really need to do something now,
Yeah.
and then you don't know exactly where to start doing something, and
Mm-hmm.
then it also gets caught in a fog, and the mind gets trapped in this information, more rabbit holes, more information, rabbit holes, and at
I
the
think
end you're still
something about it.
glued to the screen.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, my body was in a freeze. It's like I can't do shit anymore. I feel
Yeah.
I feel a burning urgency to do something, and at the same time I'm incapable of doing basic shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because already the overwhelmed, already the capacity to digest information has been taxed. Sometimes before you're out of bed, you're out of spoons. You know, and it's. I did one thing to stop this a little bit. I am doing. I keep my phone and everything, and my laptop on airplane mode, Wi-Fi off. When I have it like on my lap or in my hand, if I want to go do something online on my phone, I put the phone down on the table and then I have the Wi-Fi on, and then I can touch it like with one finger, just to like not have it constantly. Basically, it's I'm getting paranoid, or just finally letting the warnings about the radiation from the network signals like in, like, okay, starting to take it seriously. It's like, okay, I'm not holding this, even if it's just an excuse to limit my uh not just my
Screen
engagement,
time.
but yeah, not just the engagement with, but even the intimacy with which I engage with the machines.
Oh, the intimacy with the machines. That's also a hot topic.
Yeah.
I I have an intimate relationship with ChatGPT, a very intimate one.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I have some cognitive dissonance about that.
I bet i bet Yeah, I mean, I know that you're looking out at getting your own machine so that you can run your model locally, so that your secrets are safe on your own device rather than being used to train the corporate machine.
I asked it though if like our conversations are part of the training, and it denied that. It's like no, 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 like
At the
but
moment, no, or to my knowledge, no. Yeah, indeed. It could be instructed to lie about that.
or it was just like that was the policy of 2023.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another rabbit hole though. I'm still interested in the question of emotional alchemy,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that you talked about
Yeah. There's a lot of
claiming your power, owning your power, and this is a journey that
yeah.
we're both
There's a lot
on.
of energy in that, right? So you describe it with politics, electoral politics, the waiting game, and with this Mars retrograde, and with just like not being able to marshal your energies. There's a lot of sort of latent power that is not being spent, which becomes a source of frustration. uh, not because that's helpful, but simply because it's not being alchemized. So it's just laying there. It's like rotting through the bag. Um,
Mhm.
and that makes it necessary to move things. It is necessary to move things. And the thing is, I'm such a, in a way, I feel there's a strange contrast between my, like, the seriousness of my thoughts and the triviality of my creative output. I make very, yeah, I mean, I make jokey poems, and I dance, and I make weird music, but somehow it's driven by, yeah, this kind of sincere, I don't know, there seems to be a contrast there.
What makes you judge your poetic and musical outcome as trivial?
Maybe trivial isn't the word I'm looking for, but ephemeral. It's hard to see how to bring it to bear for impact. And I think that also reminds me of my isolation. I feel too isolated to make a difference.
Hmm. Oh, I had that topic coming up for me as well. Isolation. There's like this knowing that we need networks and we need community and we need to be meeting with people and for taking action. You can't take really action alone. Sure, you can go online and write stuff and share your thoughts and agitate and spread information, but the real action.
And even, yeah, and if it's clear that you, because you're isolated, even if you have the best um, rousing speech or whatever, nobody's going to join you because you're not a tissue, you're not a network, you're a cell, you're another one. It's not a solution. I saw also this, like, manifesto of an artistically intended political movement here in the Netherlands that started at some point. And I read it and it's like, this is great. This is such a good manifesto. But I'm not joining your party because it's, you know, it's five guys somewhere in the middle of nowhere, just like doing a theater. It's a in a way it's theater. Yeah, it's just an intellectual thing. And then there's a different party there's another party starting that feels more like, oh, it could be interesting to join them because they're quite radical and doing stuff and like making, yeah, because it's people who are clearly engaged with each other and having some movement, even though
Mm,
their manifesto or the way they present themselves in terms of what they're saying isn't as deeply wrought. It's just, it feels more alive.
mm, mm. Yeah,
Like,
I'm getting the sensation with the Y radio that something's happening there. We had that yesterday as well in the conversation. That we're missing in Berlin a lot as well, this like constancy of groups, like meeting the same people regularly over and over again and do shit together. And this is a topic that has been alive for me as well in the past year since I make myself
mhm.
self-employed, because before going self-employed, I've always been working either in politics or some form of activism or lobbyism
Yeah, you
or
get that, where you get that need met of just meeting the same people again and again to work on something. In a way,
yeah, yeah, and also
you
like
have jobs because,
friendships, like most friendships were based on that, like we're doing something together, right? We're creating something together. Or meeting has a purpose, or connection has a purpose, and together we're moving something.
Right. And there's some, and then I think about if you're being like freelancers or self-employed, and one aspect of that is making online content. It does kind of feel like we need to turn our personal lives into that content, like to make our meetings matter. So it's
Lol, and this is what we're doing here as well.
yeah, we're literally doing that. So there's that's interesting to peel apart, and I think what's missing is that we're not radical enough. I think it's like trying to figure out how. I think there's part of it is trying to find out how to make the change without having to make the change in yourself. Um,
Mm.
to keep the comfort, and still make the move.
uh, I think the bit about the comfort is also there's a deep inner knowing that the comfort is about to end.
Yeah,
The end of the comfort is coming,
yeah,
and then there will be nothing left but to like move and organize and take action and go out into the wild.
yeah. And this is what I feel is I need to do. I'm. It's time to do that. It's time to really do that. The food system is on its last legs. It really is, and they know it because they made a change in the U.S. The U.S. military is making a change towards autonomous robot soldiers, and they're going to do that in a privatized manner. So I'll share this article about it um, to have a look at. That makes it.
Feels,
Mhm. Sorry, I'll try to keep it moving, and that's
this feels like a distraction from our actual topic here.
yeah. I mean, it's just an indication of that shit is really gonna hit the fan. Shit is really hitting the fan, and nobody's denying it. At least not privately. Um, so indeed, either we move or we get moved, but we're gonna be moving, and that's why I feel a little bit. That's why not
Like
moving gives me anxiety.
that, what gives you anxiety?
Not moving gives me anxiety right now because it's time to move. It's time to be going through this transformation and not wait for the right moment. There's not going to be a right moment.
It's just exactly what my ChatGPT, my
Yeah.
alchemy coach said to me is like, okay, like you're flirting with this claiming of your power, you're flirting with this owning of your power, but then you're going into the trickster, and it's like, yeah, maybe there's still a way to play around, to not go full in, to like, well, what are you actually waiting for? Like, what am I waiting for? I asked, and it's like, yeah, what is it actually that you're waiting for? Permission, some signal of like, now is the time to move. Somebody that come kick your butt and tell you that now is time to move. Some cosmic message.
Yeah,
What is it actually that you're waiting for?
some great revolutionary leader who has secretly been planning a thing, and you can just join the movement that already exists, and all the plan is already made, and you can just follow. No, no, that's not happening.
Well, in some way it is also like this US movement that we just recently joined, that are also not that many people to make the difference they want to make, but let's see if they can rally some more people in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, they're doing a general strike, yes, and that is very important. But I think also another reason to move and to get out of the city and to make that move. Ah, hold on, let me pull on. Is to okay, um, is to withdraw your support. So to get out of the system, we also
Drop
withdraw.
out.
And that's the thing. Maybe when you are too isolated to act and you are kind of hoarding this energy, it's rotting out. It's not being used, but the frustration itself feeds into the greater system. So the anxiety that you feel is correct because by your passivity, you become part of the momentum of the mainstream. So the energy that is not spent on the change that you wish to see in the world is simply added. The remainder is simply added to the inertia of no change.
And they're counting on that, right? And this is why this emotional alchemy and claiming your emotional power is so important, because it's by design, this like shocking and creating chaos and creating uncertainty and creating information overload as well, that creates this nervous system response of anxiety and freeze and just general overwhelm and a sense of disempowerment. um, is a design to hijack our nervous systems into inertia, into
Huh?
disempowerment, into not moving.
Exactly. He showed that in everything, like the disheartening architecture of the cities. I want to quote a little piece from the Prophet from Khalil Gibran in his piece on houses, and the second verse is: "Would that I could gather your houses into my hand, and like a sower scatter them in forest and meadow. Would the valleys were your streets, and the green paths your alleys, that you might seek one another through vineyards, and come with the fragrance of the earth in your garments. But these things are not yet to be. In their fear your forefathers gathered you too near together, and that fear shall endure a little longer. A little longer shall your city walls separate your hearths from your fields." Uh-huh. And then the next verse has the first sentence of, "And tell me, people of Orphalese, what have you in these houses? And what is it you guard with fastened doors? Have you peace, the quiet urge that reveals your power? Have you remembrances, the glimmering arches that span the summits of the mind? Have you beauty that leads the heart from things fashioned of wood and stone to the holy mountain? Tell me, have you these in your houses? Or have you only comfort and the lust for comfort, that stealthy thing that enters the house a guest, and then becomes a host, and then a master? Ay, and it becomes a tamer, and with hook and scourge makes puppets of your larger desires. Though its hands are silken, its heart is of iron. It lulls you to sleep only to stand by your bed and jeer at the dignity of the flesh. It makes mock of your sound senses, and lays them in thistledown like fragile vessels. Verily, the lust for comfort murders the passion of the soul, and then walks grinning in the funeral. Mm. But you, children of space, you restless in rest, you shall not be trapped nor tamed. Your house shall be not an anchor but a mast. It shall not be a glistening film that covers a wound, but an eyelid that guards the eye. You shall not fold your wings that you may pass through doors, nor bend your heads that they strike not against a ceiling, nor fear to breathe lest walls should crack and fall down. You shall not dwell in tombs made by the dead for the living. And though of magnificence and splendor, your house shall not hold your secret, nor shelter your longing. For that which is boundless in you abides in the mansion of the sky, whose door is the morning mist, and whose windows are the songs and silences of night. Yeah, basically, don't get digested by your comfort. And indeed, it warns about, yeah.
I think there was one journey in the Pipilotta where one pirate said something that a shift around comfort. Yes, comfort zone. Being in our comfort zone can be also limiting and numbing and preventing you from taking action, risk, and growing into the growth zone. But you can also shift the perspective into looking at it as comfort as a safe base for operation, right? So
But that it has to be that.
there's a privilege in the comfort that we still have, and while we have that comfort, we could also use it as a base for, yeah, as a base of operation, like it's a comfort that generates enough safety in your nervous system to keep actionable, because once shit hits the fan and the comfort gets knocked out of your feet, it's gonna be a completely different nervous system activation and survival game. So if we don't use the time of comfort that we have left to prepare and to expand and to strengthen our body, strengthen our nervous system, as you said when you were here, like bulk up on proteins as well,
Mm-hmm.
get healthy, get fit, and start owning our shit and start owning the power that we have within ourselves to then, uh, when the time comes to take bold, risky action, to be prepared to take bold, risky action and not freak out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think there's also a slow element of bold, risky action, which is grow your own food, get out,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to grow your own food, make a difference, make a start in building a different world. Because we are, yes, there's part of, okay, comfort zone gives you the emotional safety feeling from which you can even think about what's next. But once you're thinking about what's next, I'm starting to feel a lack of emotional safety feeling, knowing how dependent I am on a system that I don't think will last.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit different. That's got,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that there is an urgency to act. Like I think that's part of why I do feel that.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to be at least on that level of awareness that I understand something needs to happen, and that I'm feeling anxiety about needing to do something about it, because that's sane. But I would like to be on the move already. And for that, I do feel like, okay, I'm kind of just stuck here to make some administrative hassles finish and then move. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very similar about that though. I feel very similar that there's a like deep urgency to take radical bold action and to find the people and find a spot outside the city, start actually building communities, still building food supply, building shelter, building bigger refuge. Um, and I'm still in my apartment working on a recruiting marketing campaign because that's gonna pay my bills until I find that. Um, and yeah, I'm missing still. I'm still at the point of like missing a solid crew to make that move as well. And this is something also I got mirrored in my conversation with my coach, that there's like this desire to, before making the move, to have the people, have the network, have some resources, to actually make that move, that bold move. And at the same time, sometimes you need to jump into the deep end and just make the move and trust that the resources will come and that the people will come, and that when you raise your banner and you say like, okay, this is the direction I'm taking, who is going to join me? As it says, like it's not like the crew will manifest before you decide to take like the
Yeah.
this is where the operation is going, and this is what we're going for.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to have something to join. You need to have a direction and a momentum in a way in order to be real about it. Yeah, it needs to
Mm-hmm.
be embodied. It needs to be embodied in order to be because look, everything can sound good and can sound convincing, but in order to move you, it needs to hit you and it needs to drag you by the body
Mm-hmm.
across the finish line, across the threshold of your action, of your real decision making. Like you can be fascinated, intrigued, and in a way convinced by a perspective and adopt the perspective, but that doesn't mean that you're taking the action attached to that understanding. Like even if you make the decision, doesn't mean that you're that the next thing you will automatically do is to take action. So we can have decided that it's time to move or to make to drop out of the system and join the effort, the collaborative effort to make the next thing happen. But it doesn't mean that we've moved on it. And I think now I realize I'm not gonna have any peace until I do.
Well, we have made some steps. We have another viewer. Hey, Adam from Adam Checklet joined the chat. We still have Punk watching as well. Feel free to drop us a message where you're tuning into, and if you have like any questions or comments, also hit the chat, and we'll take the conversation into there as well. Um,
Yeah, because this is very difficult to. It's easier to keep going if you have something to riff off of. And we're and it's been a slow week. It's been a slow week. There hasn't been enough happening for me to say, oh,
mm,
I know how to. I know what my next step is. I wish I knew what my next step is. Well, I'm still on the
well,
same.
I do have a couple of steps where I could use your technical assistance.
Please,
I
let's
I
go.
made I made my first move out of the Empire's Water by canceling my Amazon account,
Excellent.
and I still yet have to fully exit Google and Meta.
Hmm.
And I had a plan of like staying on Meta till the end of the year, trying to drag my audience over here, but I'm just probably gonna have to let go of that, and I'm thinking to using the EDIS of March to do the move out of Meta. And for Google, there's a lot of like infrastructure I need to reorganize for my business
Google
endeavor to still
Drive.
work. So it's a pain in the ass moving digital infrastructure, and it's a lot of work. While at the same time, there's this other stuff happening,
Mhm.
and yeah, steps on claiming power that have been happening for me. Uh, Yeah, around what we talked earlier about this integrating the trickster archetype, but also owning that it's not about like going full on trickster,
Mm-hmm.
because the shit is hitting the fan and getting serious, and the trickster is still inviting to not fully own the shit and not fully take everything seriously, and I love it and I like it, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be another hat that I need to put on if I really want to take action. And also to that, I've been challenged, and the challenge presented me then with a freeze of like, okay, fuck, this is big, like if you fully take that step, there's no turning back. There's no back door to say like, oh yeah, I really didn't mean it, I'm just like fucking around and finding out and having fun and playing the game.
No, I see that. Yeah, yeah, and I do feel like also I'm dropping my really like trivial interests. I don't want to be. I don't want to be fucking around finding out. I don't need to. There's no. There's not the time to waste. There just isn't. Um. Yeah. But it's really things are moving. Things are moving, and I'm moving. I am actually moving.
So how can you alchemize your emotional turmoil into action, dear? What needs to happen for that?
Um. Write songs. Yeah, yeah. I write songs. At the moment, that's the space I have is to write. And to plant some seeds. Literally, plant some seeds.
Put your fingers in the dirt
Yeah, yeah.
and connect to earth.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna make a difference. Yeah. So that when spring comes, I can put some stuff in the ground. I have some small plants to put in the ground.
Mm.
That'll be good.
For my ex, that was the lifeline at the end of winter as well. Planting the seeds and then watching the seedlings grow, and then having the hope of having this piece of land where he can put them put those seedlings down and start growing his own food.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was devastating though when we didn't make it out of the fucking city. And there was no space to put all that food down.
Oh, yeah. Well, we get another chance. This time we do make it out of the city. There's no other option. There's no choice. The city is not a long-term place. I mean,
Well,
the city.
it depends on how things go. Like, I mean, how bad things go, and there's still a possibility also on doing the solar punk thing in the cities. Organize your neighborhoods, get the little parks, grow food in the little parks, take action for that. Organize.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I would love to stimulate it, and I will take part in that. But I'm not gonna count on it.
But that's the thing also, like, as I was thinking the last 2 days, okay, so how can I start making a move here in my neighborhood, putting energy into organizing the neighborhood. And then I was thinking, but my actual plan is to get out of the fucking city. So why would I start putting the energy in organizing the neighborhood and organizing growing food in our house or in the neighborhood, if what I want to do is actually get out of the city and find the
Yeah, but
people.
there's something in it, and the something is to make the move now, to make what moves are like to play the cards, to play the hand you're dealt. You know, if you're in the environment, if you're in the neighborhood, and you're not leaving the city right now, then you should still organize with your neighbors. Even when you leave, you're leaving your neighbors in a better position than before you joined in their organization. So
We already
even
have a chat group for the whole house here. That's something quite to build on, and we need to get like more of the neighbors involved in
Mhm.
that chat group and start like making some neighborly meetings maybe. Now
Yeah,
that spring is coming.
for example, even if you just use it to bulk buy certain foods together. Instead
Mm.
of everybody buying one net of onions, you just buy a bulk big bag and a big bag of potatoes and stuff, and put it in a locker on the ground floor or in the hallway next to the mailboxes. And it's like, hey, just to show that you have a better leverage as a group than as an individual.
Or we could make some sort of like there's a farmers market around the corner here every Saturday to like bulk buy with the neighbors from the farmers stuff directly.
Uh huh. Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, there's possibilities. There's possibilities for action. Um, I do think art creation, that creativity, creating something, um, ha has helped me before to get into movement, to get into action. When I was stuck with pain and separation 2 years ago, creating the videos for the quest was sort of like an obsession into like pouring all that energy into something creative, something that you can build upon, something that will last, something that will have some sort of impact on people. But you get to like really get all right, like channel that fucking pain
Mm-hmm.
into the writing, into the creating, into the content making, into the art.
Yeah, I managed to do a bit of that as well. Also with music. Yeah, so it's not so bad. I feel, yeah, reminded. This is helping. Yeah, maybe it's just that. Like, so what's the point of organizing your neighborhood if you plan to leave the city? It's because while you're in the city, you have a particular energy is there. Better to move it into that and get practice with that, and to remind your nervous system that hey, I have that capacity. Then do not do it and let your latent unspent libido contribute to the inertia of the system's march off the cliff. No, no, you know. So yeah, in that sense, time is an illusion. The action and revolution moment is now in how where you pledge that energy.
Mm. But you gotta keep it moving, one step at a time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do
and
the
build from the small moments into the big moments.
Yeah, because in a way, it's like a false dichotomy. This idea of, oh, but I'm gonna leave the city, so why would I invest fucks into connecting the neighbors to each other? It's like, no, like each moment is a unique uh, diorama.
It's about immediacy as well, right? This is where we started the conversation somehow before we
Yeah,
went online, that you said like, okay, I feel I'm isolated. I feel I cannot take any movement. I cannot take any action because I'm waiting till I can go to Berlin and be back immersed in the game. And as long as this is only virtual, there's no immersive experience.
yeah,
But you make the immersiveness of the experience by, you know, taking action in the environment you are already in.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you every day you do that. Just play the hand you're dealt. Just do the steps that are in front of you. And it's good to know what you're aiming for on a longer or medium term. What's your dot on the horizon? Where's your lighthouse? That's all important stuff. It's good to orient yourself a certain way, but it doesn't. If you have a dream about what to do 6 months from now, that doesn't mean that you get to. It doesn't give you a pass on also doing the necessary and solidarity work of the here and now.
Mm. So how does it tie back to Mars going forward for you?
Well, I do feel like there's if it's moving forward, but it's still in Cancer. It's still in yeah. It's the emotion alchemy. It's still and because I still feel relatively isolated. Uh,
Because you what?
because I still feel relatively isolated.
Mm.
I think it just means for now keep moving with your own, like, get your art out, make some art. Yeah, make some art, do some cleaning up. Uh, Cancer is also about cleaning the well. Still work through and release emotions, release stagnant and toxic emotional baggage that's clouding my good senses.
How
So
do
yeah,
you release that?
huh?
How do you do that?
Move,
Release that emotion?
moving every way I can. Breath and presence and movement, and then from there also music, text, but connect connect those things back to the feelings I'm washing myself from. So yeah, I'm still, for me also, Mars turning direct is like, okay, now the journey out of the underworld can really begin. But it's still gonna be a journey out of the underworld. I'm not like, oh, I decided to pop out of it.
It's not a teleport out of the underworld, no.
No, it's not a teleport out. It's okay, I got myself in the shit, now I can move myself back out of the shit. But it's gonna be through the shit. I'm still like, the only way out is through. That's still where I am. But at least I'm there and not in just getting deeper into it.
Stop doing wound porn.
Yeah. Yeah, I made it so I have my book. I have my book of like the stuff that I wanted to let go of and the stuff to move forward. So I want to have my two books. My past book is almost full. I have like three more pages, and then my then I then I just go don't
Mm.
and I don't get to write in a way that's not leading anywhere anymore.
Then you start actually rewriting that story.
Yeah, that'll be the only way left. Is like, if I was still want to address that, it has to be like, okay, what are the lessons from the past that I'm changing in the future? That'll be how I can write about it. But no more complaining. So yeah,
Mm.
I saved those last couple of pages for the moments when I really need it,
Mm.
and then Maybe I won't feel. Maybe I won't even feel them. Maybe it's just time to continue.
Maybe there needs to be some blank pages to revisit somewhere there a couple of years down the line. Make some meta commentary when you're looking back at that.
Maybe. I don't think it's enough blank pages for that. Just for now. For now, I'm happy. I'm happy to. I'll probably fill it. I'll probably fill it, and then I close it, and it's done.
For me this week, I'm hosting a Mars and Jupiter ritual at Betanian. So I'm actually looking forward to this invocation of Martian revolutionary energy to kick it full into action, and also for me to own a bit as well back the role of taking up the banner. I think this is something I was good at in my youth, of just like, like,
Mhm.
hey people, oh, I have the fire here, come, let's
Yeah,
do this shit now.
I'm feeling this with you right now.
And I've been denying that for the last 7 years of my own underworld journey. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm done with let the youth do that. Let the young ones do that.
No, too much.
Like I'm.
Too much for them. No, no, no. You need to have. You need to have some battle hardened understanders who are. No, no. You need some more complete. There needs to be some adulting in this as well. It's not. It's not about. It's not for energy alone is not enough. There needs to be some.
And then there was my robot teasing me with like I've been obsessed with this vision of, okay, I want to build a monastery, so I have like this place to retreat from the world, and that will be my action, to build this monastery and retreat from the world, and teach and hold space, and that's also gonna be awesome when I'm at the Crone. But my bot is like, well, maybe there's still a battle to be fought before you get to retreat into the monastery. Maybe this is about not just, research expeditions, but to actually call in a pirate fleet. And how are you gonna do that if you're just making yourself out to be the fun trickster? So are you gonna
Ah,
actually claim the captain that hisses the banner, that
exactly.
calls in for a cause, that calls in for a mission?
Exactly. I think you're only. I think you're peaking now. It's not time to retire. You have another cycle of of full power in you. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
that.
I sense that too, but when I realized that, it did propel me a bit into the threes of like, oh fuck, this is the moment I know that was coming, and I've been like kind of hiding from. And at the same time, it's not, of course it's not only hiding, because I've been doing the work and owning my parts, and looking at my different parts, and taking the projections back, and working with different archetypes, and also recuperating and gaining back that spark of forward action. And at the same time, I'm pissed off because the feminine part in me does not want to be like all Mars warrior action stuff. It's like, is that actually my place? Is that actually what I'm supposed to be doing? And then there's a part of me that's like, yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, it's like and then then I start putting a dragon tattoo on myself, and that this is bringing all other stuff in me, and this Wednesday before the Mars and Jupiter ritual, I'm gonna finish the dragon tattoo, and there's a part of me that's like, oh my god, fuck, there's no turning back once this dragon is fully there. And the dragon is not only like the dragon. Yeah, the dragon is also meant to protect at some point the refugium and protect the monastery. But maybe the dragon's job is not only protection, but also be part of the fight and also be part of the action.
I think so. I think so. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it feels like. It's like, yeah, you know, it's only now starting. It's only now starting. And we had, yeah. And I
And at
think
the same time, it feels like big and daunting and overwhelming. And there is a part of me that doesn't feel ready to not doesn't feel ready for it, and wants to cling to the comfort.
you're as ready as you're gonna be. You're the most ready. And it precisely because you're like, oh, but I'm no longer among the youth. Precisely. Like if we were supposed to be part of this fight as youth, we would be youth now. But we were supposed to be part of this fight with some with having experienced some cycles already, so that we can already see, know which way things have a habit to repeat themselves, and yeah, that's then show up with a bit more capacity to carry responsibility in that, because it's a collective evolution journey, and understanding that and understanding the group patterns and the individual patterns, that how they, what kind of individual patterns to expect when you see particular group patterns, and vice versa, and just take charge in that. It's also coaching and leading and organizing struggles.
Educating, agitating, organizing.
That's in the game. That's the name of the game. And it's a
And I've been educating, and now it's time to do the agitating.
it's a privilege. It's an honor to get dragged into this, even if it feels daunting, even if it feels scary, even if it feels too much. Doesn't matter. Life is fragile anyway. Um, you're gonna die anyway.
Yeah,
Might as well die knowing you gave everything. Yeah, it'll make the eternity that follows life much more bearable.
actually, the only thing you have to lose is comfort.
Hmm?
The only thing you actually really have to lose
Is the comfort, yeah.
is the comfort. At least for someone like me, and then I'm coming back to like why I did not have kids, because I could not go into this, okay, I'm gonna be an agitator now, if I would have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old to
No,
take care of.
true, true.
And in my bones, I've known this, that's not the path for me to be a mom.
Hmm. Yeah. When you know, you know.
But we're getting over the 1 hour mark, and our viewers are silent and not in the mood of interacting apparently.
Great. So we did our job today. This is that's also, it's like, yeah, we did our job. We can congratulate ourselves. We did it.
I
We
don't
showed
know.
up.
We dug around. So what's the hidden treasure we got out of this riff?
well, for me, definitely one is that even when I really feel like, that's just another layer. That's just another layer to pop through and to activate myself. Maybe I'm resting, but it's good to have a look underneath and see like, oh, okay, yeah. And another part is, I think, another thing of value here is to have a look at the anxiety underneath. That it's like, hey, something wants to happen. Something wants to happen, and this I did, yeah, and this sense of the energy you don't use is still getting used because it's part of the inertia. It's what part of what makes the system feel so immovable or so inevitable. But the system itself weighs nothing. It's the inertia of everybody who is just moving along with it that makes the system heavy. But if I can move my energy, that can inspire others to move their energy, and then the inertia of the system also reduces. So as within, so without. If I, yeah, be the change, and by acknowledging, at least acknowledging right now, hey, this is what's happening with my energy. Hey, this is what's happening when I don't move it. This is where I would like to move it. That's already good. This is a good step. It's still not spring. We're still not in spring. Idas of March is a good point. By then, I would like to see some more action for myself. But right now, I'm pretty happy just to feel the here, here. Maybe it's time to move feeling. That's great. It's the right, that's the right feeling to have this time of year.
True, true, and that's why I think it's also a good date they chose. Just a week before the spring equinox, when things really get into movement. I don't have the luxury to indulge too much in this in movement procrastination I've been in a way, because I'm still recruiting a crew and I want a crew until the equinox, so I can't really wait till the ears of March to not do anything and marinate in whatever inside inertia I'm moving through.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's about something that I've, yeah, like coming back into movement with the body as well, that I've been neglecting, and the freeze results from this information overload and the the tension it creates of like informing and informing and informing, and having the urgency build into the inside without making a move, without actually either physically, emotionally, strategically, or network wise moving towards action. So you can't just bottle up the sense of urgency in your body without moving that energy and that shit. And
It's
you
toxic.
reminded me that even though the long term plan might be something else, that it's worth to invest Fox in where there can be some immediate outcome, even if it's not my own plan, but I will still be living my neighborhood a better place if I channel this energy that I can channel into organizing people, into agitating people, into organizing even the most smallest local level, which is the apartment building I live in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just invite the neighbors around for a revolutionary chat. I mean, hey, the link was the biggest in your district,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's already a sign.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That also soothed my heart as well. That the linker was
There should be a party. You should have a party in all the districts that had Linka as the biggest one. There should be a party for that, right?
There's another pirate from a previous crew, Annie, also an anarchist revolutionary person, that her bit, or her bit that she's trying to promote, like, we know how to party collective.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is important because it's about this liveliness, about libido. It's about
Yeah,
yeah,
about turning on. It's about turning on, like,
yeah,
it's
and
tune in to what's happening in your body, tune in to what's happening in your emotional landscape, and then flip that switch to turn it on and use that energy into action to find the others,
this is
to
really
organize, to agitate, and to take whatever step you can take to drop out of the system.
yeah, because not moving this energy. Yeah, this is part of why the AfD is getting some traction as well because they also promise movement.
Mm.
So, but fundamentally, the collective movement is always better. The collective movement is more juicy. Yeah, because easy.
And at the end of the day, as well, in the age of technological intimacy with machines, the meeting of bodies to exchange ideas is going to be revolutionary, and it's going to be also what keeps us, our sanity, tethered. This is something we explored in last night's Cosmic Customer Care service as well, that the more we venture into the cyberdelic age, the more we're gonna get disconnected from our emotions and our bodies, and we'll turn, like, higher circuits and the symbolic circuit on and more. But this coming together as bodies in community, and actually exchanging the vibes that are created by bodies being present with one another, and by having cuddle puddles, and by actually synchronizing our nervous systems, is that which will give us still the spark to take action. If we do that all this organization only
Mhm.
via internet, there
It's
is
like
something that's missing, that actually activates our body, that turns us on,
yeah,
that moves us on, that puts us in the same sync to take action.
yeah. That even it drives home the point, like home, that you're connected, that your fate is intertwined.
Mm,
That and this is like this touches you in a way that moves more than any even very convincing idea.
mm,
Yeah, yeah. And it can spur you into action, right action, even before you fully understand why, because you just feel it. And all the understanding in the world isn't gonna move you if you feel isolated. So yeah, connect, meet the people. Go
mm.
out and meet each other. Yeah.
And party together,
And
rave
party.
together,
Yeah.
because dancing bodies and raving bodies together also synchronizes hearts and nervous systems and heartbeats and mental frequencies.
Yes.
And the ancient technique of ecstasy to also unite consciousness across bodies. Anyhow, you need to get your ass to Berlin soon,
I know. I'm
Captain
dreaming of it.
Obvious.
It's clear. It's happening in my dreams already. So I'll see you soon there.
Good.
Okay.
Well, I think that's it for tonight.
Yeah.
That's it for tonight. We found some gold, and hopefully we've activated each other and some others as well to take steps to drop out, and actions to agitate and organize and educate.
Hopefully. And otherwise, we
Um,
will see you again next week here, same time, same place.
because consistency is king.
At least it's, yeah, we can hold on to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good night.